first and foremost, let's talk about you're having to step up this year. You started the season opener. Now with Trey going down,
yep.
You're going to be pushed into more responsibility. Can you talk about that? Do you feel ready?
Yeah, it was really unfortunate for Trey to go down, but Coach G, all my coaches, they've been preparing me since the summer, since spring actually, to be in this moment. They always talked about being ready to play at any moment, so this is what I've been doing.
Can you talk about your development since this time last year? Because you were pretty much on scout team last year, or no?
I wasn't on scout team, but I didn't really travel to away games. But yeah, so I think I've made a lot of progress from last year. I think Coach G has really brought me in and developed me the way he wants to. So I think it's a tremendous step from where I was last year.
What exactly have you improved upon, in your opinion? I'm sure right at the top of the list is getting stronger,
right.
Developing physically.
Yeah, but most thing is like knowing what to do. I didn't know. I think last year what held me back was I didn't know what to do. This year, it was a struggle at first, but I had spring ball, so I had time to get to know everything.
So, and how much does a guy like Brent Self and Connor and the other veteran linemen help you?
Oh, they're helping me a ton. So since the summer, they've been helping me. They've been coming in with me, getting in with the plays. I've had a chance to go over plays with the younger kids, so it helps me. So it's just it's an all-around group effort.
And the line has been playing really well through 2 games. This is going to be the biggest challenge to date. Memphis, we talked all week about how good their defense is. Can you talk about the challenge of the offensive line setting the tone here?
Well, we just gotta go out there and we gotta do our thing. We gotta run off the ball. That's all we gotta do. Just play physical, more physical than them.
And you as being introduced back into the lineup, you've got to maintain that chemistry that's been developed. How important is that?
Yeah, I think the chemistry with the rest of the line is perfect. I don't think there's a knockoff from Trey going down. I think we all know what to do.
So, interesting situation here with this game, and your brother is on the other side.
Right.
Kind of talk about, that does not happen very often in college football.
No.
What's it like?
I think it's really fun. When he transferred last year, I knew that was going to happen. So I think my family, they've been really embracing what was going to happen. I think it's a really cool experience for both of us and our whole family.
How has your family been handling this? They got to divide and conquer?
Oh, no, they're all Navy. It's all Navy.
Oh, it is?
It's all Navy.
Are you sure about that?
Oh, yeah. It's all Navy.
Well, I believe your brother's listed second on the depth chart.
Right.
Has he been playing much so
far?
far?
He's been going through some struggles with his knee injury, but I'm confident that while he's over there at Memphis, they're going to get him right.
Have the Nichols brothers been texting, or just no communication this week?
We texted last week. We haven't texted any time this week. I'll probably text them tomorrow.
So, a lot of times in this situation, parents have shown up with half Navy, half Memphis jerseys.
Yeah, they've got something going on. I don't know.
Okay.
They sent me something. I didn't like it, so I sent it back. But,
well, yeah. Where will they be seating? We may have to keep an eye on this come game day.
They're on Navy side.
They're on the Navy side. Okay, and who exactly will be coming?
Everybody.
Like dozens of family?
They won't even tell me. I mean, it's a lot.
Right. Huh. So will we have to wait and see if there's any support for Memphis while sitting on the Navy side of the field?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Riley Riethman. You work with him every single day, hand in hand. What makes him a good punter?
His work ethic. He's out here every day. He's grinding. He's like getting every little minute detail perfect as he can. Whether it's like his drops or, I don't even know much about punting, but like he's taught me so much just by watching him and seeing how much he really cares about it, and just the attention to detail he carries with him when it comes to everything about punting. He's talking about it too. Like it's something that's constantly like in his mind. But like the good thing about Riley is he doesn't like over stress himself. He keeps himself calm, cool, and collected, and he gets the job done.
So it seems like over the years he's become more of a technician. He really is into all the fine detail, and he's not worried about punting average as much as he's worried about pinning teams deep, winning the field position battle. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, he's very much a strategy guy, like all about the strategy in his everyday life too. So like when it comes to punting, like you said, pinning guys, like he's really trying to work on like his, like pooch punts, like dropping it right in the like 5-yard line, and he does he's really good at that stuff. He's getting really good.
Right. So when he does have a strong leg, and I've been down here at practice, when he really gets into it, the sound coming off the foot. Do you, as a long snapper, without even looking, know when he's really connected just by the sound?
Oh yeah.
It's just the thud, right?
Yeah, warm-ups, it's like boom. It's like
right.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
So I understand he's like a 3.91 GPA. He's an aerospace engineering major. I've read about his capstone project. He's building drones to go in North Pole or something. How smart is this guy?
Yeah, he's super smart. He's told me about some of that stuff. He helps us younger guys out with our homework and stuff.
I was going to say, he's the kind of guy you want to help with your homework. Right?
Even though it's been a few years, he still knows exactly what he's talking about.
Right.
And he's just a really smart guy.
Right. So have you ever played golf with him?
I haven't.
No.
I haven't. I want to. I'm not a big golfer though.
Oh, okay. Right, because he's a pretty good golfer.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Riley, first and foremost, in the 25 years I've been covering Navy, they've had a lot of good punters, and I'll name John Skaggs and Pablo Beltran, two of the ones that I thought were good enough that they could probably have punted in the NFL. There's been some others that have been pretty darn good. You are right up there at the top of the record books in a lot of categories. How much would it mean for you to leave here with some records that say that you might be one of the best punters in Navy history?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be quite the honor. I mean, you walk in the footsteps of giants at this institution, not just on the field, but off the field, and certainly with punting. I mean, you've had some great ones. I know Pablo pretty well. He's obviously was a great player, and he's a good guy. So, yeah, it would definitely be a huge honor.
Have you studied the record book and kind of learned some of the names of the former Navy punters?
I mean, I've looked at it a couple times. Like I said, I know Pablo and Skaggs. I see his name up there, but some of those guys from a long time ago. So I mean, I've never met those guys. But
so you came in. You always have had a strong leg from the get-go. But I'm imagining that you're a completely better, more improved punter than you were as a plebe. Can you talk to us about what you feel you've gotten better at? What have you focused on? What have you tried to improve upon?
Yeah, I think I've mentioned this to you before, but I mean, I was recruited as a kicker.
I know. I do remember that.
So I came in. I punted in high school for my high school, but wasn't great by any means. And so I think the biggest thing was like I said, I've had the power, but it's been the consistency. That's the name of the game in punting. It's not how big your biggest ball is; it's how good is your bad ball. You know, because you hit a ball low hang time right down the middle, that's going to get taken back to the house.
Right.
Which I had one taken back to the house for that reason, my plebe year. So learning from experiences like that, and you know, when you're a plebe who doesn't know a ton about punting, you're like, oh, I just want this thing to go as far as humanly possible and jack up my average and everything, but there's a lot more to it than that. Like I said, consistency, the direction of the kick, hang time, obviously, and now with Coach Brown, we're running an operation where the op time needs to be super quick. So from me catching the ball to getting it off has to be quick. So that's something I've struggled with and I've been definitely trying to hammer down this year. Right.
So how do you work on some of the fine things? I mean, is there anybody you go to for advice? A big thing is placement, and another was how to get punts that land and kind of bounce back. And I remember the great Ravens punter was amazing at that. He could always all his balls always seemed to. It was like a chip shot where the ball just checks up.
Yeah, that's definitely an important aspect of it. We call it like the down it punts when you're inside of the 50, trying to hit those. We had one this past game where,
and I remember you were very, very careful to make sure you got it really high.
And then with some backspin, and at one point it's kind of out of your hands as to whether it bounces forward or back. But you can definitely, by putting backspin on the ball, kind of like in golf, it'll
help your cause, right?
Right, yeah. You got about a 50-50 chance at that point, and then another big thing with those is giving your gunners, in our case Ray Lane and Eli Heidenreich, time to get down there to maybe catch the ball.
Right.
So if they're not bringing pressure, then we're going to take a little bit longer to get the ball off and hit that.
So during the off seasons and whatnot, is there anyone that you go to for advice? I know you probably worked with a kicking instructor back when you were in high school, but I don't know if you continue to do that while you're in college.
Yeah, I've bounced around with a few. It's kind of tough when you late in your career. It's like you kind of have a form that you've stuck with for so long, and to go change that would be really tough. But there's definitely guys I go to for advice. Braden Mann, he's punting for the Eagles, I think now. Matt Darr, who punted for the Dolphins. Gone to people like that just for some advice, not even necessarily technically, but mentally, or if there's things I see in my form, then I'll definitely talk to them about that.
So obviously every punter takes pride in their average, their punting average, and it's one of the things that you're in the mix for leaving here as the all-time leader in average. But yet, part of what we're talking about with direct positional punting, directional punting, you can't worry about average, correct?
Yeah, no, that's a big part of the mental game, like I was talking about. Like that punt we had against, last week. I had a really good ball that spun back and everything, or the one after that.
Right, the one that got down at the 7 and led to a safety.
Yeah,
but that was probably only like a 36-yard punt.
I think one of them was 30, and it was down on the 9.
Right.
So yeah, that one
was the perfect punt in that situation.
Yeah,
but it's not going to help your average.
Right, and that's something like I talked to Matt Darr about, of like, not letting that get to your head. If you come off the sideline, you objectively just hit a good punt,
right.
But at the same time, it's killing your average. So it's got to be, if you look at it from a selfish lens, it just destroys with your mind. That's definitely something that I think every punter goes through, but it takes some maturity to think past that.
So in terms of, let's go off the field, you're a 3.91 GPA in aerospace engineering. Why did you choose to pursue such a difficult, challenging major?
Yeah. It wasn't necessarily about the difficulty that I was searching for. I've just always been fascinated by how things fly, and I like building things, so I thought it would be cool. I heard it was pretty tough, but I was like, I'd rather be up late doing stuff that I like than writing English papers about topics I don't care about. So I've definitely enjoyed it. It's been tough, but I think it's pushed me academically and on the field. Like it's no small feat to on Friday night you have homework, but you got a game the next day, and it's like, which one do you choose?
Right.
So that's definitely been something to juggle.
So talk about your capstone project. You built a drone, apparently, something about the North Pole. It had to be able to deal with they have to find polar bears because it's costly if they have to move. Tell us exactly what that was, because who comes up with that?
Yeah, well, we did not come up with it. Most of those capstones are outsourced by organizations or other businesses that they might not have the time, funding, or resources to do it themselves, so they'll outsource it to people like us or other contractors. So in this case, it's with the North Alaska Slope organization, and they try to build these roads through the Arctic to make travel more efficient up there for the scientists. But if they run into a polar bear den, then they have to either divert the road or go through the den, and they get fined huge amounts of money.
Right.
So our goal is to build a drone that'll have super long endurance and range, so it can scan a large swath of area, and it'll have an infrared camera, so it'll spot life, and pretty much the only life out there is polar bears. So we'll find these polar bears in their dens, so probably under the ice, which is a big challenge, spot them, bring back that data, and then they can use that to more efficiently build their roads.
How are you coming along with the project?
Well, it's super early in the design phase, so right now we're just deciding between like configurations. Whether we want to do a vertical launch aircraft or a fixed wing or a quadcopter. So there's a bunch of design considerations that go into that, but we just got our groups and everything, and I'm with some really smart guys, and so I'm excited about that.
And then tell me what you did this past summer. You took a trip, but kind of explain what would that involve.
Yeah, it was an
Nepal or something.
Yeah, it was to Nepal, over in Asia, and it was awesome. I went with Dr. Joe Thomas, who he was the O-Rep for the football team years ago. Super cool guy, super knowledgeable, and we went there and we were just looking at the culture of Nepal, and we also got to go up into the hills a little bit. They call them hills. They're anything under 20,000 feet's a hill there.
Right,
so
but it's really mountains.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So they're the biggest mountains I've seen, but they were considered hills. And then out of the window on the way back, we got to see like some of the 25 and 26,000 mountains. So it was an awesome experience.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you hope to do with this aerospace engineering degree? What might you choose for service selection, and what would you ultimately like to do that utilizes that degree?
Yeah, well, I put down naval aviation as my first preference, so hoping to get that. And I'm super fired up about that, obviously, just because like I said, love aerospace and everything that goes with that. And then after the military, I think something like project management with a defense contractor in the aerospace industry would be really cool.
So last but not least, I mean, you are part of an operation. Just talk to your long snapper, Rayne.
Yeah.
I mean, can you talk about working with him? And I know Navy's had some good long snappers. One of them's in the NFL right now, Joe Cardona, but Rayne seems to be doing a good job for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's a young guy too. He played last year, so he's got some experience. He's just reliable, and that's what it is with a snapper. It's not about being flashy. It's kind of like the O-line. You're never going to get praised for your good work. It's more like if people are noticing you, you've done something wrong. And I don't think many people have noticed Rayne Fry. I think he deserves a lot more praise than he probably gets as a long snapper. But like you said, I mean, you can make it to the NFL as a long snapper, and then people won't be missing your name very much.